Good morning. I'm still in the process of getting ready. This is empath energetic protection cleansing spray. Not really ready yet to do the tarot. I'm still cleaning up and closing out my last reading, but for whatever reason, I felt like turning on the camera and rambling a little bit while I did that, I guess. Good morning. It is early. The energies were really, really awesome last night for the full moon. I know that neither me nor my dad slept last night. I was up and down all night, and every time I got up, he was up, and he was just he's having a respiratory thing going on. So not feeling the best. I have slight respiratory things, but that's because I finally quit vaping. Just was sitting here one day, and it had been a topic in a lot of things about dealing with addictions, and I was just sitting there, had no plans before any of that, and was like, I think I can, and that was it. But it does mean that now I have 30 years of crud coming up out of my system. And, I think there's some little bits because Dad and I are in each other's energy a lot. That's kind of rippling out and showing up in his physical expression too. Because whenever we're closely tied to other people, the reticular activating system, I know I'm saying that one wrong, and the mirror neurons, we tend to set each other off that way. Our bodies reflect each other in energetic ways and biosocial, psychological ways. So he's down there not feeling good, but he's awake. He slept for a little bit. I've been trying to be quiet this morning. But I didn't sleep last night either. I just kept waking up. I wasn't particularly sleeping poorly. The nights leading up to last night, I've been having so much nerve pain in my neck and hands, and just getting hot in the middle of the night for no reason. I'm not hot now. I have a jacket on. I'm in the same room and not hot. But if I go lay down, even on top of the covers, I start roasting. So that's been the last few nights. Last night wasn't really I didn't particularly get hot. I didn't have the nerve pain. The dreams have been awesome and new. Definitely not taking the turns they normally do. For me, it's just been different sorts of content in the dreams than what is normal for me. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Still just closing out the decks from the day before. All right. Oh. But the energies of last night with the full moon, I hope that you set some good intentions and really kind of took some time to think about it. Is February 1st of 2026 at the time of my filming this. We just had the snow moon, the last full moon of the year of the wood snake before the year of the fire horse starts mid-February. A lot of energetic themes around safety, and even I think a really big one that people are facing right now is how intolerant we have become to discomfort, and how detrimental that has been to our efficacy, our ability to handle anything and cope with anything. And in my perspective, that is a side effect of trauma culture and being way too emphasized on the past and not thinking forward enough. Sorry, I'm going to turn my speaker off. I just realized I still had that running. I'm always running it, so I forget about it, and then it's always turning off. So that's a constant sound in these videos. All right, let's cleanse some space from the energies of yesterday. I've got my Palo Santo. I do have a candle burning. Mandarin orange is the candle fragrance. Tropical mandarin. Crown, bless the space. Cleanse it, set it. It is my intention with all readings to tap into source for what is in the collective's greatest good and highest potential in divine light, love, and truth. Okay. That was me. I'm not just getting, this deck is a little hard for me to handle. Okay, in divine light, love, and truth, what energies are approaching my collective that they need to see in order to maintain their alignment, their coherence, and resonance with their greatest good and highest potential. In the light, love, and truth of the source that is the only source, the consciousness at the center of all things. Okay, right away we have the self. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let me get my light. I do have a light. But it is the self. I do not take reversals. I find that reversals should be things that we should just consider within what we're doing. All things have polarity, and it didn't come out in reverse anyway, but we have the self. Okay, one or two more clarifiers about the energy around my collective. Oh, this deck is so hard for me to manipulate. I should do it another way, but that is way too many months. I like to keep myself out of it by only taking the cards that pop out. I feel like I can manipulate it too easily if I grab and reach. It's just my thing. I feel like I'm in it too much when I grab and pick cards, even though I know that works too. So it's just me being my stickler. It's snuck one extra in. So we have the self, and then after that came Anima Mundi. Anima Mundi is all about alignment. And then we have the Sustainer. So you are in alignment for being able to sustain yourself with whatever it is that you are creating, your vision. And the ocean is dealing with the vast depths of our internal world of spirit and emotion, right? But it is the depths. It is the container of all of those things related to the emotions and spirit. So you are in alignment for being the vessel that you were designed to be, to carry Your divine spark mission will source forward. I'm going to get a little bit more. So I'm looking at the astrological current that surrounds this. I like a crown and root perspective. And the astrological current to me is the crown. Those are the energies above and around us that filter down to us and through our bodies, entering through the crown. I mean, it enters around everywhere. That is how I'm phrasing it for the reading. But symbolically, it represents those energies to me. Okay. So what is the current these energies are flowing up on? Let's stop there. The first one out was Aries, combative. Mercury, mind and speech. And flying way off to the right, the masculine side is inner healing. So because we have mind and speech and combative, inner healing, and the ocean, that is all of those things in the shadow, those programming and conditioning for me that cause most of the challenges. I'm going to show you really quick how these cards are laying out. So if we were to lay these out, I have the self anima mundi right next to the combative, right? So this is Aries in this reading for me is representing those inner critics, the programming thoughts that keep us out of alignment and actually keep us contained. And then moving over to aligning with the ability to speak in a way that sustains us, to meet our needs. So we've overcome this battle of the self in order to come into alignment with speech that is going to sustain us and actually maintain our truth and heal those deep, deep wounds that we carry. Okay, so let's get you put back here. I know, really awkward filming. But I wanted you to see how those were lining up so you could kind of see how I was getting that message. Okay. So now we have that one. Let's look at the root. So just like a river, we have the current that is flowing, and then we have the land that is shaping that current. And the land acts like the container that will either allow the energy to compress or expand, right? Like a river flowing through a wide open valley has the opportunity to slow and broaden its waters. Or if it is being pressed through a narrow ravine, the energies must condense and compress, and that can cause a buildup and a surge, right? Woo! Way too many, but I will take that one because it turned upright. Not going to look at those. And I am only not looking at the bottoms of the decks and these other cards just for the sake of time. I am trying to keep these readings relatively short. This little bit of my hair keeps bothering me, but it is early and I haven't gotten ready for the day yet. Still been trying to kind of keep it quiet for Dad. The first card that was out was the Soul card. Oh, one more. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we have passion and the soul coming under the combative. So that is those inner voices that we have had to overcome in order to discover, right? Because most of us didn't know what our truth was. We had to discover it along this journey. We had to define it. We are the meaning makers, right? So we had to define and find our soul's passions. I love that card. I love that I. Okay, and the next one, underneath mind and speech. So what is coming into sustainable alignment in mind and speech is the ability and the confidence to speak from that inner core. You're solid. Your inner core is solid now because you have dealt with these Aries energies in your inner world. You're solid. And this is setting all of those energies into motion. So there's that fire horse energy. If you are listening to this heading into the year of 2026 or in the year of 2026, there's that fire horse energy. So we're coming in under Chiron and inner healing, the sustainer, the ocean, Chiron, setting things in motion. So all of your work that you have done to overcome these inner critics, the programming and conditioning of childhood has brought you into alignment and being self-sustaining and self-sufficient in your ability to advocate for yourself and for others, to speak to these inner truths that you have worked so hard to define and find, that now you are getting prepared to take those energies, right? That current that we talked about is now the ocean, right? You're tapped into the ocean and you're about to take those energies out. So let's see, what is talking me next? What is the... When we break out, I am going to go into the rules. I want to know when these energies break. The air is the mind also. So mind, air can also be perceived as spirit, but these are thoughts, minds, will, motion. Where are these energies moving us towards? I use different decks because the different themes provide for me appropriate vessels for the questions that I particularly seek. Other readers will do it more traditional ways or find their own ways too. This is how I like to do it. I don't like to focus on others. I like to focus on my inner journey and my work and where I'm at, because when I am able to maintain my vessel and my mind and all of that, the people that I care about, who I would be doing this for in a less healed mentality, the people who I want to bring along with me, the people who I do extend care toward, benefit greatly. And they're living their own lives. I don't want to muddle in what is right and appropriate for their learning and growth. So I tend to my street and I walk with and beside them. That's why I don't ask about others specifically. Unless I have something that I know is a challenge with somebody, like their health or they're facing a crisis, then I will ask for how to be supportive for them. Okay, now back to you though. Motion and air. This is going to create, because of the cards that came out, this is going to create some forward momentum that is going to make you feel probably like I've got Runaway Train playing in my head now. But this is the runaway, and the runaway is secrets, running from problems. I don't feel that you are necessarily running from your problems anymore. I think you're learning how to address that avoidance. But these are two very difficult cards. You have the pathless and the runaway. And there is a great deal of feeling like and getting the impression of running away and being pathless when you step outside of what is traditional and what is considered normal, especially for ambitions, right? Like there are so many people out there who are taking a non-traditional perspective into how they are pursuing their goals, how they are earning a living, how they are approaching relationships. These are divergence, right? They are running away from what would be sorry about that, considered normal. Alkalite is the bottom of the deck, so it's student energies. But I would definitely be checking, because if you've got that combative, that is the running from the problems, right? So the combative is that avoidance. It can be the refusing to look at, and it is coming underneath the anima mundi, and being in alignment. So make sure that you are not playing in avoidance. And because the pathless is out here, that's what I feel like the resistance is coming in from, because the pathless is that moment in the Indiana Jones movie where he has to step out and just know that there is going to be ground beneath him. I believe it's the Holy Grail one. And he has to walk that whole ravine, placing his feet out on something he can't see, just knowing that the ground is going to be there, right? And the sensation of living that path, that is trust in the divine. That is having done the work enough with your principles and values that you know that no matter what you face and strike out on, your principles and values will carry you forward. And that alone, that's not talking about spirit. That is just the power that you have in yourself. Add spirit on top of that, who fully supports lifestyles built like that, and you're doing phenomenal things. But right now, just within you, you have, because of the energies that are out here, you have the ability to sustain yourself with what your inner core is solid. But you might still be dealing in that combative energy, that Aries energy in the soul, is that fear that you're bucking the norm, that you're bucking the system. I'm going to pull another card to kind of clarify those. But that's what I feel is, I feel that the pathless, there's the fear in trusting the divine to catch you when you step out. And that fear is making you feel resistance towards fully committing to this momentum and this motion that you feel. So that's what those cards are speaking to me. What is the guidance you have for my collective? Place runaway under there, pathless under inner core. You've got this. When the pathless card comes out, it's difficult decisions, and it says lack of direction, but it's a lack of being able to clearly see where your next steps are going to take you, but feeling the calling and knowing the direction forward. So like for me, knowing that, this is how I want to live my life, and that it is not traditionally supportive as an acceptable lifestyle as far as the earning that people view it as. It doesn't look like a traditional job, so people might look at it differently, and that can cause resistance in me to putting a whole lot of energy towards it, because I'm trying to conform to social opinion. That is why the pathless route feels hard, because it often asks us to run in juxtaposition to social norms. But that is what that work on that inner core has been. So what is the guidance for my collective moving forward? What do you want them to do? I'm going to accept all of them. They came out and there's 3. So restrictions, the feeling bound, the feeling restricted, the having the inability to see, that is the pathless, and creates that sensation of wanting to run away. You may feel trapped by limiting beliefs or external circumstances. The way forward lies in shifting your perspective, trust your strength, break free, and move towards empowerment. And that's what the motion in the air card is calling you to. This is calling you to trust in the work that you have done, and to know that that work that you have done was on solid things. You've done the work. Community and battle. So this to me is calling us to look at, because it's restriction, community, and battle, that is looking at the people around you. And really, that might be what you're being called to look at and address, and maybe move away from, is communities that, and I talked about social currency over the last few days, communities that do not support our visions forward, that do not align with our values, that represent qualities we are moving away from. If you can't respect the lifestyle and the choices of the people around you, why are they in your life? But that might be the battle that you're in, is moving away from these relationships. Bottom of the deck, strength, and underneath that was aspiration and surrender. There is conflict whenever you create healing and you begin making the changes that are necessary for you in order to live a life in line with your vision and your creativity. You change your relationship with other people, like where you stand with them changes. If we view this as a field, right? Where you used to align and value in your ability to stand with them would have put your peg in one spot on the board. And when you changed how you moved in alignment with your values, you recentered yourself on the field. That uproots everybody else because now you're not behaving in the ways that they expected, that was normal for them. So now they have to do a lot of forced change that they didn't ask for, right? You were a catalyst in them because now something is new and different in their world, and their whole system is going, because none of us know how to deal with change well, right? That's these. We can either give in to the opinions and perspectives of others, those norms and traditions and things that were holding us back, those labels, those perspectives, those narratives, those things that aren't working. We can either give in to them and submit to the status quo and live a life in compliance and conforming, or we can buck some of those, shed what doesn't fit, and live in alignment with our soul. Not everyone is going to feel a conflict between those two things. If you're here, you do, or you wouldn't be looking for the guidance. What these cards are calling us to do is to tap back into the self, right? The self knows you are in alignment to be self-sustaining. So all that is needed is the courage to step fully into that, knowing that you've done the work, right? That you're an adult, your opinion, your presence has value. You are here for a purpose. God, don't make no junk. And then what you are here to create has a place. I can see that there's a great deal of challenge. Like, these energies aren't light when we're faced against often our closest associations, which when Three of Cups comes out, to me, that's not just acquaintances and random people. That is the people who are closest to us, either in friendship, family, or business. So when they're that close to us, these are very painful and challenging energies. That's why it's Aries. Aries feels like war, right? That's too many. Yeah, that's too many. But you have done the inner healing. Your inner core is solid. You are prepared to go out, and you have the ocean behind you. So your advice, you have challenge and laughter. I'm going to read the challenge card since that is carrying the vibe that you are in. Are you up to the challenge? Just because things look hard or impossible does not mean they cannot be conquered or overcome. You got this. Your inner core is solid. Anything that is telling you you're not is the mental trick. It is that sword. Those swords in our back are often our own inner critic, our own voices that cause resistance and delay. So the other card was laughter. It said, laughter is a medicine for the soul. So laugh, even if it is through tears. What this is asking is for you to find those small glimmers, because right now things are hard. You have said, hey, I need to reset this whole system because this isn't working for me anymore and I'm not playing this game this way. So you have asked for an entire system reset. You need to hang on while the system resets. It is resetting in your favor because you asked it to. So while it is resetting and it feels uncomfortable, you're going through the growing pains And we are going through really, really big lessons about our ability to survive what is hard. We are fireproof. We only stay in the fire until we are able to see that we are fireproof. So why do you keep staying in the fire? Just hang on. You're fireproof. You'll make it through. Look for the glimmers. Find those things that are occurring around you, and they are, that are giving you those little kernels of I see you, it's changing, you're in alignment, those synchronicities that say you are in alignment, things are moving in your favor. Mind your inner world, mind your thoughts and your feelings and what you are allowing those to carry forward. My stomach is growling, so the solar plexus, the confidence, your confidence is really being pressed right now. But if you continue in the way things were, it doesn't end the battles to conform. The battle just becomes one you carry inside alone. Whereas if you continue in the path of growth that you have aligned yourself with, then yes, you're going to cause some readjustment in your relationships around you, but what you're also going to do is, because you're visible, you're going to draw in the community that can create the soil that will support your further growth. But until you become visible and step out and start speaking in your truth, others can't see you and can't come around to support you, and your battle remains alone and within. So your advice is to persevere forward. You can carry a bit of discomfort in order to achieve the goal of you and your beautiful expression in the world being fully unleashed. So it's uncomfortable, but you've got everything lined up to be successful, because ultimately you're fighting yourself. And you are divine source here having an experience. If you're battling yourself, you have divine power behind you as well. So step out. Your community will support you and find you if you are stepping out. Be patient with the people who are in your life that are adjusting as you are changing, because they might not have asked for the change to happen in their life, and now they have to, right? That is uncomfortable for them. Give them a little bit of grace and continue on your way. Let them have their piece of the pie. They can handle it. We're all adults here. We can handle it. Love you.